Apparently, Pete Hegseth is attempting another rebrand of the Pentagon. Allow me to introduce you to the High T Department of War, where the T stands for testosterone.
Our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
This is not a parody. This new mandatory policy will test both male and female troops over 30 for low testosterone. Anyone with low hormone levels will have the option to receive testosterone replacement therapy. Joining us now, Rachel Van Landingham, a retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force and a former JAG. Eddie Glaude is still with us. Rachel. Okay. What message does this send our troops?
Well, it sends our troops who, by the way, the United States military engaged in 6 hours of airstrikes last night over Iran, that the Secretary of Defense is more worried about, limiting medical autonomy of our troops than he is regarding, the major war that's being waged right now. What's really striking to me, Alicia, is the broad brushstroke of this new policy and the fact that it applies to women as well as men. There is no FDA-approved low testosterone treatment for women. And if he's really concerned about the health of our force, and preventive medicine is a good thing, then he should also be mandating estrogen screening for women over a certain age, because there's tons of research out there that estrogen is needed and it declines drastically in women over a certain age. So this focus really on male virility, male testosterone, and the fact that it was rolled out by the sitting Secretary of Defense, aka War, during a time of war is troubling.
I want to pick up, Rachel, on what you just said there, because the Defense Department declined to say whether there would be estrogen screenings for female service members and if there would be repercussions for service members who declined recommended testosterone treatment. NBC News points out that since 2015, these therapies, quote, carried warning labels and have only been available to men who have both low testosterone and an associated medical condition. Any concerns, Rachel, that troops could potentially get medical interventions they don't actually need?
Well, I do trust the medical providers within the military to follow approved FDA guidance. And let's be honest here, the fact that Congress did mandate the Pentagon just last year in the National Defense Authorization Act to do a deep dive into a screening for low testosterone and possible treatment protocols. So this has long been a concern, particularly amongst our special operations personnel, that low testosterone was something that was afflicting particularly them in greater numbers. But there was a stigma in seeking screening for it, a stigma because they were afraid of an effect on deployability. So they were often going off base, off label to try to treat this. So I think, in a nuanced way, this is a good approach to saying, hey, look, everyone's going to get screened once a year during part of your already annual physical health assessment. This is just a screening tool to ensure that, we head off things at the pass for men over a certain age. That's fine. But I'd like to see that it's limited to men, that there are privacy protocols put into place and transparency regarding what's the effect of this if the member declines the treatment. And parallel to that, what about women? Women shouldn't be tested for testosterone. Yes, women have testosterone, but at rates 10 to 20 times less than men. And it should be part of a much broader preventive health approach, such as estrogen, hormone replacement therapy, screening, and then, guidance one-on-one with their providers.
That context is so fascinating, Eddie, especially because Hegseth doesn't sound like the Secretary of Defense in that video. He sounds like an influencer who's trying to sell you supplements. And it's all right. It's all because it all sounds vibes based.
Yeah, absolutely. So what Rachel just laid out makes me less harsh, less judgmental about what the policy is about. But I think there are three things that really animate my response to this. One, every time Hegseth talks about manly man, I just want to just play men in tights. That's the first thing I want to do. The second thing I want to talk about is that we need to begin to think about the way the intellectual kind of lines, the kind of tributaries that inform and shape this stuff. This sounds a lot like a kind of respectable version of Bronze Age pervert stuff around manly man, around a certain kind of notion of masculinity that we need to begin to interrogate. And then there are, of course, Hegseth's Christian commitments. This is also tied to a kind of muscular Christianity that was really critical to the 19th century, that led to an expansion of YMCAs and the like, about spiritual athletics and the like. And we see this discourse animating much of what Hegseth has done, and particularly the folks he's committed to. His religious community they're committed to. So we need to see these tributaries and connect the dots, it seems to me.
It's interesting to me, your slip of tongue there, because you said Donald Trump instead of Hegseth, but we all know where this actually comes from, which is this idea, Rachel Van Landingham, that somehow the American military is not mighty enough, that there had to be a culture shift. And I think that is the challenge. It is hard not to see this policy in the broader culture shift that Hegseth has brought to the fore.
Absolutely, Alicia. And it's not that it's just not mighty enough. It's not white male enough for Secretary Hegseth. Secretary Hegseth has fired women, senior military leaders, has blocked for no cause senior military women being promoted. He's blocked their promotions. He has said in his books and written that he does not believe women belong in combat. He has mandated the highest male standards for combat positions. This seems part and parcel of his war on women, as well as his war on minorities. You can fit that all together.
Professor Rachel Van Landingham, Eddie Glaude, I am so grateful to both of you. Thank you so much for being with us.